It's the Gen Zer, and today, guys, we'll be reacting to this ABC News Live video titled Rate of Student Loan Delinquencies Surges. Without further ado,
A surge in past due student loans is sparking new concerns about the health of the U.S. economy. Student loan delinquencies have been on the rise since the start of the new year.
wow, look at this absorbent rate. More than a tenth of all student loan repayers have defaulted on their loans. 12.9%, nearly 13%. That is insane and extreme. America, or the United States of America, has more than $1 trillion worth of student loans. The citizenry has student loans worth about more than $1 trillion. And guess what? That constitutes the largest asset on the US government's balance sheet. Let me repeat that again. Student loans constitute the largest asset on the US government's balance sheet. And you guys really think they're gonna just let you default on that and not pay it? Oh no, they're coming for every single penny that you're worth.
Now, the number of late payments sits at a record 12.9%. And this
Hmm.
comes after the Trump administration ended a years long Biden era freeze to those monthly payments. Rohit Chopra.
Yeah, you see, many of us relied on those frees and believed that by some miracle that President Biden would be able to forgive all, if not most, forgive, yeah, most, if not all of those student loans. Well, I'm here to tell you guys we live in reality, and that was never possible. As I've just previously stated, the United States government's largest asset on its balance sheet are the student loans, which you, members of the citizenry, owe it. So there's no way that they're allowing you to just be free of those loans. Absolutely not. If anything, they're going to let you carry those loans for the rest of your lives because that's easy money for them. And they need that money. I mean, that $1 trillion worth of student loans, that's not even enough to cover the interest on the national debt for 1 year. Hey, but guess what? They when you have when you have insects or bugs, they're bloodsuckers and leeches, and they need fresh blood. And you guys are it. I guess I'm in there too. I owe student loans, so welcome to the club.
Is the former FTC commissioner and joins me now to break this down. And
So this is the former FTC commissioner. Let's see what he has to say.
hit first, thank you for your time. But I wanted to ask because, look, given the policy shifts, this wasn't exactly a surprise that we were going to see these delinquencies really kind of raise, but it's still setting off some alarms here.
Well, there are parts of it that are a surprise because many student loan borrowers under federal programs have the ability to cap their payments as a percentage of their income. But what we are hearing is thousands and thousands of these applications are sitting unprocessed.
Well, the tides have shifted. If you decided to fill out those applications to cap your student loan repayments as a percentage of your interest fairly recently, or let's say after the current administration has come into power, I'm sorry to say, but you've made a foolish decision. Won't call you a fool per se, but that is quite a foolish decision. Personally, I've been under an IDR, which is an income driven repayment plan, since since a few years now, and I'm going to remain on that IDR for as long as I can. Until someone kicks me off, I'll continue to remain on there. But if you decided that, hey, you know what, you're going to try to get a favorable outcome with your servicer while this administration is in power, you're cooked. You're cooked beyond belief. It's really too little too late. You should have taken action sooner. And I'm not saying that I don't feel bad for you, but I do feel that you certainly miscalculated the urgency with which you needed to act.
That means that people are being asked to pay big money even though federal law might allow them to have a lower payment. So I'm really worried that the way the Department of Education is managing this is going to have real impacts on the broader economy, not just those borrowers who are struggling.
Of course, as I've previously stated, those borrowers they owe the US government its largest asset on its balance sheet. So, guess what? As a result of them not being able to pay that, well, the US government will certainly, you know, affect their credit negatively. But not only that, the US government will also not be able to collect on a large source of revenue, which it can tap in. Aside from taxes, what else can the US government consistently rely on to collect revenue? Very few other avenues. And student loans are one of those avenues for the federal government.
Well, and currently the Department of Education, soon to be possibly the Small Business Administration, at least for new borrowers. But listen, for folks that are trying to figure out their finances over the next couple of months, what are some tips that you can provide for figuring out just kind of how to stay afloat here?
Well, look, it's not just student loans. We're seeing upticks in auto loan, credit card, and even mortgage delinquency.
Well, you know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of 2008 with those mortgage delinquencies. We all know how that played out. And if you don't know how that played out, please take some time to watch the movie The Big Short. I think alongside The Wolf of Wall Street, it is one of the best movies ever made, and definitely, in my opinion, the best movie of the 2010s. Mm-mm, maybe The Wolf of Wall Street has something to say about that, but those are certainly the two best movies of the decade, in my very humble opinion. And as far as the credit card delinquencies go, well, the rate of credit card or the amount of credit card debt is the largest ever on record. I don't recall the exact amount, but I do believe it surpassed a trillion. It surpassed $1 trillion mark. We're in a world of hurt in the States. You better make the right financial decisions if you want to survive. I'll be honest with you guys, times are getting hard.
In certain geographies. The big spikes are happening for people who are over 50 years old,
Mhm.
not those new
Oh,
college
interesting.
graduates. That means it's people with older loans. Some of their documents may not even be accurate. People really need to go online or call their student loan servicer. That's the company that collects the
So, in other words, boomers and members of the Jones generations and older Gen Xers are getting shafted by their service loan providers because one, they may not be uh, adept at using modern technology. They may be quite inept at using such technology. And two, well, since they figured you're not necessarily paying close attention to your loan repayments, hey, they figured why not? Might as well just jack it. They might as well just jack it. And if anybody's going to be able to pay for it, it would be you. It would probably be older people who do have the assets or the finances to afford it. And if they don't, well, guess what? Their assets are in jeopardy because this is typically going to be the group of people who own assets, not younger folks or college kids who just graduated from college, but these older people who have been making payments on their student loans for the past 20, 30 years when they could have paid it all off. I don't know their individual financial circumstances, but I believe that would have been far more likely than, let's say, for a college grad who graduated within the last 5 to 10 years. Just saying.
payments to make sure all of that is accurate. But honestly, I'm worried that the way the Department of Education is handling it, it's looking more and more like it's being bungled. And that means people's credit scores are going to get hit And that could make things even worse as people are encountering higher prices and a weaker economy.
Well, and so as we head into fall, are there some key dates that borrowers should be paying attention to?
Well, right now, August 1st, which is this month, that's when the administration has started to hike interest rates on all those people who are waiting for a new payment plan. And this October and November is when we're going to see a lot of new college graduates entering repayment. I'm really
Wow. Yeah, that sounds about right. That's approximately 6 months after graduation. If your graduation took place in April or May, that sounds about right. So now you have to start paying back your student loans. And far more likely than not, if you've graduated in this job market, you probably do not have an adequate job. Statistically, you're unlikely to have a job which is going to pay you an adequate amount, especially enough to pay back your student loans while being able to live a respectable lifestyle.
worried that many of them are having a tough time finding a job
Hmm.
and are going to start off their life after college deep in debt.
Yeah, it's kind of a dire picture, but I really appreciate your time.
Well, when you decide to go to college, you have to know that you're making a decision to take on debt to fund your education if you do indeed decide to take on debt. I understand as 18-year-olds, we're told by our parents or school counselors or family members to sign on the dotted line, get the financial aid, because guess what? A brain or a mind is a terrible thing to waste. You have to understand you're taking on a loan, and with a loan comes interest. You have to understand what an amortization table is. You see, we do not educate our young ones and the members of our society in general about interest. Interest permeates every aspect of our lives. It's in our mortgages. It's in our credit card repayment contracts. And of course, yes, it is in our student loans. It's in our auto loans. Every single loan has interest. He who earns interest is the true wealthy. He who pays interest is the new slave. Anywho, guys, it's the Gen Zer. I hope I've left you all with some nuggets of wisdom. Enjoy and have a good one. Bye bye.